Hey, what's up everybody? Again, I got to apologize. Sorry these vlogs are way behind. I don't even know if anybody knows that I'm alive anymore, but I am. I'm in an undisclosed location, still cracking, still happening, still riding. Gotta tell you about Santa Cruz. I'm gonna jump right into it. Basically, the ride from San Francisco was awesome. It was nice to be back on the road. I had a nice stay there, but it was good to be back riding. The sun came out just as I left the house. It was raining in the morning when I was getting ready to go, but the sun came out, and it was a really nice ride. My bike, for some reason, wasn't all that happy. I broke a brake cable that runs from the handle brake down to the actual brake pads, and that happened like, I hadn't even left San Francisco yet. I'd gone like 1 mile before that happened, and then I got another flat tire, and that wasn't a big deal. But pumping it back up, my pump broke, so I only got about half filled. But luckily, I was able to ride. There was a gas station about 2 miles away, and I was able to ride into that. So all in all, it was kind of a little hectic with the bike, but other than that, the ride was smooth. My place to stay in Santa Cruz had fallen through like the day before I left, so started emailing people on couchsurfing.com, and the person who responded to me, her name was Anna, and here's a picture of Anna. She's in feminist studies, and she's from Berlin. And I wasn't sure what to make of her by the picture. She said she lived in a vegan feminist co-op called Zami, but I met her and she was super nice and really, really friendly. And turns out there's guys and girls living there. I don't know, it's more of a student co-op, but definitely a lot of political-minded people, and a very cool environment, really nice people. The place was total chaos when I got there. It was the day before their annual cleanup, so the place was just like shit was everywhere. There was like about 8 couches or 9 couches in the, maybe not that many, but lots of couches in the back there in the yard, and they were doing a big cleanup the next day and taking a bunch of stuff to the dump and to donation. So it was just chaos, and I was staying in the quote-unquote library, which at the time was basically a mattress on the floor and then about 300 books or 500,000 books, or I don't know how many books, but a lot of books. But it was nice, and they were very welcoming and very generous. They cooked, I had dinner with them. They cooked, they basically take turns cooking and stuff, and went dancing with them that night at a house party. And also that night I was right next to the quote-unquote library where I was staying. There was a radio station that broadcasts out of there called Freak Radio, FRSC. Yeah, Freak Santa Cruz. Here's the URL if I can find it. And I met a guy, the happy guy who did the R Duck show, Al, and he was a really cool guy. He invited me to come on his show, and we did an interview. We kind of talked about the spiritual side of my trip and just talked about a ton of different stuff, and tripped out on some weird instruments and made some crazy sounds and played a couple cuts off my record of Hallucinations, and here's a minute of that.
Is there a recurring theme along the trip? It's just something, other part of it just kind of keeps popping up.
The one thing that comes to mind is compassion. I've found a new compassion for humans in general, just for other people. Just in the past, I can be a very judgmental person, and this trip has really taught me a lot about compassion and taught me a lot, and I've been shown an incredible amount of compassion. And the other side of that is compassion for myself, and loving yourself is a huge part of opening yourself. So compassion, I think, is the biggest one, and peace goes along with that. It's also what you've been listening to in the background, so if you think I'm in the Twilight Zone, that's why. His show is kind of like the Twilight Zone. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, I woke up the next day. It was my birthday. For some reason, there was about like 30 or 40 sheep in the field across the street, and this is not like a farm field. This is right in the middle of town, right on the hill. There was like all these sheep. Here's a picture of it, and I don't know what was going on. This is like, there's no farms around. This is like right next to a schoolyard, and nobody could explain it. So I thought maybe the universe was making an offering for my birthday, or I don't know. The universe has been so nice to me. Maybe it felt like offering me a bunch of sheep to look at for a minute. So that was interesting. Anyway, I had to decide what to do. I ended up deciding to get on a bus, leave all my stuff in this co-op, hoping that it wouldn't disappear because it was everything I had, but I left it all there, and locked up my bike and jumped on a bus and headed back to San Fran to party for my birthday, and I'll tell you all about that in about 1 minute. Peace out.